The United States of America is the most powerful country in the world, and to the north is Canada, a country that shares somewhat similar history and culture. In this video, we're going to be comparing both countries, and in order for us to be as objective as possible, we're going to be looking at factors that contribute to the quality of life and the standard of living. So, in order for us not to shift the goalposts, here are the factors we'll be looking at. First is the economy, and under this, we're going to look at the GDP, the cost of living, the average annual wages, and the poverty rate. And then we're going to look at healthcare, the cost of education, family benefits, the weather, crime rate, and life expectancy. So, without wasting too much time, let's get into this. First on the list is the economy, and under this, the first thing we're going to look at is the GDP. Canada's 2020's GDP was $1.643 trillion, while that of the US was a reported $20.94 trillion. However, the GDP per capita was somewhat closer. The US had approximately $64,000, while Canada had about $43,000. So, for gross domestic product, the US gets 1 point. Next under the economy, we're going to look at the cost of living. As we're discussing cost here, I think it's a no-brainer that a country with the lowest cost gets the point. So we can better analyze this, we'll take a look at two similar cities, one in the United States and the other in Canada. We'll be looking at New York City and Toronto. Displayed are 10 different items. As you can see, New York City has a higher cost of living than Toronto. So on this one, Canada gets 1 point. Now, what is the average annual wages in both countries? The US is a superpower, and with that comes a whole lot of opportunities. In fact, some would argue that Canada enjoys a lot of opportunities due to its proximity to the US. Here, we're going to look at the average annual wages in both countries. The average annual wages in the US as of 2020 is approximately $69,000, while Canada is $55,000. On this one, without a doubt, the US gets 1 point. Now, let's look at the inequalities. Here we're going to be looking at the poverty rate and the poverty line in each country. The poverty threshold or poverty line or even breadline is the minimum level of income deemed adequate in a particular country. The poverty line is usually calculated by finding the total cost of all the essential resources that an average human adult consumes in 1 year. With the US having a poverty line of $12,760 per year, which is approximately $35 a day, it has a poverty rate of 11.4%, which is a whopping 37.2 million people. Canada, on the other hand, has a poverty line of approximately 14,500 USD with a poverty rate of 6.4%, which is 2.4 million people. On this one, Canada gets 1 point. So, under the economy, I think we have a tie here. Both countries have 2 points each. So, we're done with the economy. Next, we're going to be looking at healthcare. I think it's general knowledge that Canada has universal healthcare, and even with that, the United States has the highest healthcare cost in the world per capita. Individuals can expect to pay approximately $11,000 annually. This compares to an annual average of approximately $7,000 for Canadians. For healthcare, Canada gets 1 point. Hold on, have you subscribed? If you haven't, this is the right time for you to click on the subscribe button, and if you haven't liked yet, please like this video. It helps the channel a whole lot. Thank you. We'll give you 5 seconds for that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. As education is an important factor in ensuring the continuity of one's country, next we're going to be looking at the cost of education. Student loans is a major stress to a lot of individuals, and the cost of education is a major factor to this. The US tops the list for countries with the most expensive universities, with Canada coming fourth. The average annual tuition in the US is estimated at about $9,600, while in Canada is estimated at about $5,300 US. In the US, an international student should expect to pay between $25,000 to $35,000 US, while in Canada, about $22,500 US. So, if you're planning to study, put this into consideration. or if you're going to be raising your kids in the future, this is a very important factor. So, for education, Canada gets 1 point. Now, how about family benefits? The Canadian government has mandated leave and benefits. It supports this through the Provincial Employment Insurance. The program, which includes mothers and fathers, could pay up to $595 per week. The US, on the other hand, is less progressive in this area. The US offers some support under the Family and Medical Leave Act. This can allow for 12 weeks of unpaid leave. I think we can all agree that for this, Canada gets 1 point. The next we're going to be looking at is the weather, and as you know, except for Russia, Canada is the next coldest place in the world. So I don't think we need any statistics on this, right? I think Canada can just take an L on this. You know what's funny? Even in Canada, most retired rich people move out of the country during winter to a much more warmer environment. So I think on this one, we can just give it to the US. As safety is a very important factor in one's quality of life, next we're going to be looking at crime rates in each country. The US, with a crime index of 47.81, is ranked number 56 in the world, while Canada, with a crime index of 41.89, is ranked number 82 in the world. The homicide rate per 100,000 population is 7.8 in the US, while it is 1.95 in Canada. I think with this we can see that Canada is a much safer place to live in. So with this, Canada gets 1 point. And lastly, we're going to be looking at the life expectancy. I think we've established that Canada is a much safer place to live in. With this, I guess it's expected that the life expectancy in Canada will be much higher than the US. The life expectancy in the US is 78.79 years, while in Canada is 82.05 years. So with this, Canada gets 1 point for life expectancy. Now that we're done, let's tally up. And there you have it, 10 factors considered. As you can see, Canada has a much better standard of living and better quality of life. So what do you say? Would you prefer to live in the US or Canada? Please drop a comment below. Remember, it's the Deliberate Expert. Like, subscribe, and click on the notification button.